Most people wake up in the morning and start thinking about their problems. These problems are linked to certain memories, and these memories are linked to, associated with certain people and things. Your brain is like an old tape recorder that plays you the same tape over and over again every day. If your brain is the record of the past, you are already thinking and living in the past when you start your day. You start your day. Each of your memories is associated with emotions, and the emotions are the end product of past experiences. The moment you recall the memories of your problems, you suddenly feel unhappy, sad, painful. How you think and how you feel creates your state of being. In other words, it creates your character. If, when you start your day, your entire state of being is in the past, it means that sooner or later your past will become your future. For example, something that happened yesterday made you angry. Today you wake up thinking about it and feeling angry. You wake up and think about it and feel angry again. If you do this for 2 days, people will think you're having a bad day. If you do that for a week, people will think you're in a bad mood. If you keep it up long enough, anger will soon become part of your character. You will be known as a person who is always angry. So you see that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny. This means that if you continue to think in the past, you will create the same life over and over again. Without realizing it, you keep creating the same life that you don't even like. Usually it goes like this. You wake up and grab your phone, check your Instagram, check your WhatsApp, read a few emails or texts, then you check the news and finally feel connected to everything that is known in your life. After that, you go through a series of routine behaviors. You get out of bed on the same side. Out of bed? Go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee in your favorite mug, shower, get dressed, and take the same bus or drive to work the same way. Eventually, you get to work and see the same people pushing the same emotional buttons. After work is done, you rush home to do the same thing again tomorrow. This becomes your routine. And routine works like a computer program. And now you have lost your free will to a program. You are no longer in charge, but the subconscious program. By the time we are 35 years old, 95% of our personality consists of stored behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a program. Then you can say with your 5 consciousness, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be free and be happy, I want to be free. But the body is controlled by a different program. You pit the 5 conscious mind against the subconscious, which makes up 95. It's like that. Like pitting an averagely thin man against an Olympic powerlifter in a weightlifting competition. One wonder you can't make any changes and end up going back to the old program and creating the same life for yourself. So how do you start to make changes? Well, you have to go beyond the analytical mind, because the thing that separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind. And this is where meditation comes in. Through the practice of meditation, you can learn to change and slow down your brain waves. And if you do this right, you can get into the operating system where you can start to make fundamental changes. Make fundamental changes. Most people wait for a crisis, a trauma, an illness, or a diagnosis to begin to change. Joe Dispenza's message is this: why wait for something negative to happen? You can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. Inspiration to learn and change. Most people spend 70 of their life surviving. They live in stress. Therefore, based on past experiences, always expect the worst-case scenario. They literally choose the negative things from the infinite potential of the quantum field. They choose the worst possible outcome. It's like looking at a menu with an infinite amount of food and drink and choosing the worst possible option. That's the way it happens. Every time you remember the negative event, you produce the same chemistry in your brain and body as if the event were happening again. you send the same emotional signals to your body. Your body does not know the difference. The body thinks that the event is actually happening right now. Most people constantly recreate their negative emotional states by constantly thinking about them. Then when it is time to give up this negative emotion, they can say, I really want to change, but the problem is that the body is stronger than the mind. The body has been conditioned to negative emotions for years. The body used to be a servant, but now it is the master. When you suddenly decide to change and go into the unknown, the body doesn't like it. The body would rather feel guilt and suffering because it feels familiar and it can predict it. The unknown is a scary place for the body, a frightening place. Stepping into the unknown is like stepping into a deep river. Stepping into a deep river. The body knows that it will daddy on if you manage to get to the other side of the river. It will do everything it can to stop you. That is the reason why the moment you start meditating, your nose suddenly starts to scratch. You remember an important task you had to do, and a memory from 20 years ago pops up out of nowhere. Memory from 20 years ago pops up out of nowhere. This is your body saying, Hugh, come on, give up and let's go back to our old miserable lives. The body has many tools, and it will use every one of them to keep you from entering the unknown. The unknown is the best place to create your future, and the easiest way to enter the unknown is meditation. Once you are in a deep meditative state, you can begin to create your future. What kind of new life do you want? What behaviors do you want to adopt? What kind of person do you want to be? The best way to create your future is to close your eyes and mentally rehearse the things. Mentally rehearse the things or behaviors you want for your life. When you are truly present, the brain knows no difference between imagination and real experience. Through the act of imagination, you install the software programs for your future life. Now your brain is no longer just a record of the past. It is a map for the future. And if you keep doing this, who knows? You might even start behaving like a happy person. The hardest part is this: teaching your body on an emotional level what the future will feel like before you actually experience it. It's not enough to just imagine it, you also have to feel it emotionally in your body. If thoughts are the language of the brain, feelings are the language of the body. Through feelings and emotions, your body understands what your mind is telling you. If you feel nothing, it means that your body is not receiving the signal. It's as if the internet modem is working in your room, but you can't connect because you have switched off the Wi-Fi on your phone. Moment you start to feel the emotions of your thoughts, you are connected to the internet, and you can now start downloading your future life. And do you know what that means? It means that you do not have to wait any longer for your success to happen in order to feel successful. You don't need to wait for wealth to feel abundant. You don't have to wait for your new relationship to feel love. According to the quantum model of reality, you create the moment. The moment you feel rich and valuable, you create abundance. The moment you start to feel it, you begin to move towards your future. This means that you become the creator of your future. You no longer live as a victim and say things like, I am like this because of this or that person or because of this experience. Unfortunately, many people today are victims of their own negative thoughts from the past. Most people are not aware of this, but it's a thing with thoughts. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true, that it is true. I repeat, just because you have a thought doesn't mean you should act on it, that you should act on it. On average, you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 90 of these thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before. Your thoughts have something to do with your fate. Then your life will not change much, because the same thoughts lead to the same decisions, lead to the same choices. The same choice leads to the same behavior. The same behavior produces the same experience, and the same experience produces the same emotion. Therefore, it is very important to meditate so that you can become more aware of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. The more aware you are, the less likely it is that likelihood of an unwanted thought slipping past your consciousness uncontrollably. The word meditation means to become familiar with something. So if you become familiar with the thoughts, behavior, and emotions of the old self, you will no longer be influenced by them any longer. Instead, you start to think new thoughts and put your body in a new emotional state. If you do this long enough, this new emotional state will become familiar to you. Creating a new self is like planting a new garden. First, you have to get rid of the weeds and stones. Then you have to pull out last year's plants and prepare the soil. Only then can you start planting. Meditating basically works in the same way. You prepare the garden, and that is no easy task. Training your body to sit down and meditate is like training a wild animal or a dog. You say, "And sit down and wait here." But he runs away, so you catch him and bring him back. But of course he runs away again, and you catch him again and bring him back. The moment you start a meditation, the body says, "And hey, it's 8 o'clock. Normally at this time of day you're reading emails and get angry, but here you are sitting and doing nothing. You're not on schedule. What's going on? For years, we've been annoyed together around this time. But suddenly you change just like that. So the body starts to send signals. The body is basically looking for this predictable chemical state, and it doesn't care that it's a toxic state. Every time you become aware of what your body is doing and bring your attention to the present moment, you are telling your body that it is no longer the mind, and you are the mind. And now your will becomes bigger than the program. And if you do this over and over again, like a trained dog, the body will sit down and obey. The moment the body surrenders, energy is released. You go from being a particle to a wave, from matter to energy, and you free yourself from the chains of emotions that keep you stuck in the familiar past. If you do this for just 1 week, you will already notice the first differences in your life. You will start to catch yourself more often and avoid returning to your old, unhappy self. Of course, you will have to repeat this process until your future reality becomes your current reality. Thanks for watching and have a great day.